is Scott. I'm here today to talk about Indigenous people. But before I speak about Indigenous people, I just want to give a little public announcement for everybody to make sure they go out and vote November 2nd.
Yes.
It is a really, really important election this year.
Yes.
I am running for the Board of Assessment and Appeals, and we have Bobby Sanchez running for the mayor, and we have a lot of other beautiful, talented people on the slate this year. It's really, really important. So if you're not registered, make sure that you are. If you don't live in New Britain, you can still help us out. We need people to help out with door knocking. We just need a lot of support to make sure that we get our voices heard here in New Britain. So let me go on to talk about Indigenous people now. So my connection with Indigenous people is that my mother is, her grandmother was from a tribe in Virginia. It's a very small tribe called the Manicomine tribe, and the history of the tribe is that Pocahontas, her father, wanted to try to join all the small tribes in Virginia together to make a peace treaty, and it was in 1685. The Manicomine tribe was the last tribe to join that treaty because they didn't really want to join. They didn't want to give up their rights as being individuals, and they wanted to be independent. However, they knew that was the only way that they were going to be able to try to survive. We all know that the peace treaty didn't end well, and there were a lot of deaths, and I think it's kind of interesting that Pocahontas is related to the story. However, I think it's important that we look at the true story of Pocahontas. It is not a Disney story. It is not a love story. Pocahontas was tortured. She was raped. It's important that we look that true story up on her. So I was a little not sure about what I wanted to say today, so I did call. I have a friend who is a councilman for one of the tribes down by Foxwoods, and he told me to make sure today that I talk about the oppression of our people, and that 400 years of oppression that continues today, that it's important that we talk about that and that we're aware of it. And I always think of that oppression as it's important to look at that and know that there were so many people, countless people murdered. And we don't have a number to give to the genocide and Holocaust of our people. And the sad thing is that it's still continuing. So that number grows every single day because systemic racism kills people. So it's been doing that for hundreds of years. And to also look at the fact that Indigenous people were here. This is the land that we lived on. We were here already. So it's very unique when we look at the Indigenous people because there was no going somewhere else for a better life. They were already here living a very, very beautiful life. They had a beautiful culture, a beautiful way of living, and it's very unique that everyone who's migrated here to this country has struggled. Everybody has had to deal with depression and having a difficult time when they came here, but the Indigenous people were already here, and their land was taken from them. Their culture was taken from them. They didn't ask to have it taken from them. It was just the uniqueness of that, and also recognizing that there are several tribes that we don't even talk about or think about that are actually here in Hartford or around this area, that's lived around this area that no one ever speaks about. So I think when I think about what's important for us to think about is the fact that what are we going to do to heal? Because I'm a therapist, so I have to think, what can we do now to heal with this? So today, it's a beautiful day to talk about the beautiful culture, the beautiful history of our people who are already here. And I've been hearing, like, every now and then I'll click on the news just to see what somebody's saying about today, and I've heard, like, the contributions of the Indigenous people. And I think the only thing that I haven't heard somebody say is this land that we're standing on right now. I mean, is it really that simple that where I'm standing right now is a contribution to this country? And I haven't heard anyone say that. I mean, maybe somebody didn't hear them, but I think that we need to look at this land and all the beautiful things, the music, the dance, the clothing, and also for women, looking at the fact that the women, they had rights already in that culture. So that began long before 1920s. Women had an actual place in society with Indigenous people, and I think that we should really embrace that as well. So I was really happy that New Britain is taking the time today. The New Britain Racial Justice Coalition took the time to put this all together, and I thank you so much for having me here, and I'm really happy, and I hope maybe, like, moving forward we can talk more about Indigenous people because they're still alive. And one of the things that the councilman said to me last night was there's been several times where they tried to say that they were all dead or not existing so that they didn't have to get their rights or get the property that they were supposed to get, but they're very much still alive and trying to carry on with their culture. So I think maybe moving forward we have, like, drums, we practice, like, some of the things that we used to do before things were taken. So I hope that peace and love is upon everybody, and I hope that everybody votes November 2nd. Yeah.
There's so many things to say before I turn and walk away. If you don't see me again, if you don't see me again, nah, 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 nah. I say just remember